Welcome to the third in a series of short interviews about Heroes of the Hall, a new comic book for young sports fans brought to you by the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame. The Aurora Sports Hall of Fame celebrates sports' important place in Aurora. It is a place of history, of education, and of community. Heroes of the Hall is a short and accessible look at 4-star athletes. After reading the profiles, readers are encouraged to delve further through questions and activities. As a community partner, Aurora Public Library was thrilled when we were invited to participate in this educational initiative. My name is Risha Mandelkorn, Manager of Community Collaboration at Aurora Public Library. And with me today to chat about Heroes of the Hall is Canadian hockey defenseman Greg Hotham. Greg played 230 games in the National Hockey League with the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Welcome, Greg.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So, Greg, how did you first get involved with the sport of hockey?
Well, geez, I look back on it and I don't remember the first time I actually fell in love with the game. It almost seems like from the time I was able to walk, I guess. But I just seemed to take to it at an early age, especially, you start skating at like 2.5, 3 years old. And, back then, you and I would probably remember, but a lot of younger people would remember, hockey games used to come on TV once a week or twice a week back in those days. And so we didn't get the exposure that the league or the players get now. I don't remember the exact time. I just seemed to love the game. I wanted to play. And it didn't matter whether it was organized or if it was just on a small sheet of ice in a park or in somebody's backyard. And, obviously, like a lot of Canadian kids, you play a lot of road hockey. So it just seemed like, my winter was certainly always centered around hockey. And I just grew to love the game and was fortunate enough to have a little bit of talent to play it.
What are the challenges of being an elite player?
Well, I think when you're an elite player, especially at the NHL level, I think everybody's talent is good enough, to get there, in the sense that there are star players, as we know, but everybody else is kind of thrown around with this, covered with the same blanket. What distinguishes a lot, of the players that make it versus the players that don't, a lot of time is the mental aspect of it. Are you mentally tough to take the good and the bad? It's not everything is smooth sailing, for example. You have to. There's a lot of stuff that does not go your way, and how are you going to get yourself through it? You have to have that grit, that determination, almost a fear of failure, in the sense that, you don't want to fail. And so that kind of motivates you to be better. You also have to be a bit of a perfectionist, because nothing should be ever good enough. If you want to succeed, you can't be complacent. You have to push yourself to the next level, whatever that level is. And so it's hard every day. The rewards are great, but the behind the scenes, you need to be better and better and more prepared than the person that wants the same thing that you do. And so I think the biggest thing is to to be, we all have that talent, but it's the guy, and it's an old saying, it's the guy that wants it the most, or the person that wants it the most. And it really is true, because there's so many people that want to do the same thing that you do. And, you got to distinguish yourself in one way or another. And a lot of times it's, how hard you want it. What are you willing to do, and pay the price to be successful? And I don't always think that when people say they sacrifice things to get where want to go. I don't look at it as sacrificing. It's something you love to do. You're not sacrificing anything. You're just going for what you want. And so, I was very fortunate to play a game, our Canadian game here that, thousands and thousands of, young men and women would love to have done. And so I feel very fortunate to have, played in the National Hockey League and fulfilled my dream.
Did you learn any life lessons from the experiences you've had as an athlete?
Well, I think, to kind of go back to what I was saying, I think, the hard work that it takes to get, to your final destination. And big thing with hockey too, it's such a team game, and it's, you can't do it on your own. You have to rely on, 19, 20 other people. So it's also the teamwork, because you have a common goal in mind, and the goal is to win games, obviously, but also championships. And the competition is extremely difficult to win championships. So the biggest thing I take away from anything is teamwork and what it takes to succeed, and to be the part of that team, not to be a distraction. And also the hard work that it takes day in and day out. The grit, the determination, the willingness not to, we all have bad days, but do not take a bad day as a setback. Is to, next day, as the sun comes up the next day, and you work that much harder, and, try to succeed, and don't let anybody say that you can't do things.
So Greg, what's it like to be featured in a comic?
Well, this is the first time that's ever happened, but as a kid that grew up reading comics, it's actually pretty exciting to be able to be in a comic. Certainly not one with a cape like I used to watch with, the old Superman and Batman comics and stuff, but it's a pretty exciting time to be in a comic. And it's never ever thought I'd be in one, but so this is a pretty exciting time.
What do you want readers to come away with after they read about you in Heroes of the Hall?
Well, I think it's, there's a lot of, I think, I still have some friends in Aurora, and they know me and so on, but I think it's, what I like people to understand and realize is that, what it took for me to get to the National Hockey League. And, and I mentioned it earlier, things are not always go the way you want. I mean, you have to be able to progress every level that you go at. And I think I just like people to understand how hard I worked to get to where I got. And obviously there's luck along the way. We all need a little bit of break here and there, but at the end of the day, it's the hard work that you put in day and day out to get where you wanted to get to.
Thanks, Greg. It's been great to meet you, and I look forward to reading more about you in the upcoming comic created by the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame. Heroes of the Hall will be released in the Aurora community this fall and in Aurora schools in the new year.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.